Yeah, yeah. The little this
That's a mic.
so apparently we have a microphone and we need to pass this around, so this will be a little bit awkward,
Uh-oh.
but
If you just place it in the center and then everybody.
It's probably not that good.
let me check if we are actually live and we can
And if the mic actually works.
flash. Thank you. I think this might be the worst quality cast that we did so far, but it seems to be that we are alive. So let me just post into the channels and actually yeah, and maybe mute myself. So yeah, we are in business. Let me just post in the Discord channel and we can go on.
We have 17% of the battery of the internet.
This is going to be a very short cast.
No, but if we start to slow this like 10% or something like that, I switch to Shonko's computer, but that could be like even that could drain even more his.
I still have some power left on my laptop, so
That's nice. Mine dies, so
So yeah, here we are at the FOSDEM conference. I think you should plug it in. Or okay, that's we are at the FOSDEM conference. This is a completely ad hoc Undermind podcast, and we are working with a headset microphone. So this is as bad as it gets, but yeah, we are live and. With me, I have Johan de Jong, aka Banana Brain, John Chassul, and Lito Bot, or Martin Royakers. And yeah, I think we will do it a little bit differently now. I will just pass around the mic and well, a little bit elaborate on that. And first of all, I'm glad that I met you guys and now see some of the bot authors in person. And what are your experiences so far at FOSDEM? And first, Johan, it's your turn.
okay. My experience at FOSDEM is quite hard to have a good cast here. We're going to try it anyway. Now, I thought it was fun to have a short or a small meet of some people of the scene, people that I usually only see on Discord or here on the podcast, now to meet in person. So I hope next year more people of the community will be here.
Just say your name as well.
I'm Jan, and yeah, we have a rough start with all those technical issues that people are aware right now. It has been a great experience to meet you all in person. And bring I hope to see you.
I think you should speak louder.
Hold close to you.
First I'm going to fix my technical issues and start the tournament. As I said on the presentation, just make it the normal thing. Yeah, I hope to see you guys here in person next year.
I'm Martin Roykers from Litterbot.
My exchange from FOSDEM is mostly free stickers, loads and loads of free stickers. 'Cause that's what the stands I went to. Besides that, it's also good to meet up, of course, with other people from the scene.
Okay, and I think we will spit on this headset mic on disgusting amount until the end of this cast. But yeah, and then just appeared on the chat. Hi Dan, how is our audio quality, by the way? I think it must be terrible, and but but it is good. So we basically went to a few conferences there. We hosted two talks, one by me. That was, almost completely winging it, but don't tell anyone. And one by Slot, and yeah, I think there was some interest. And after that, we attended some talk. We posted the live stream, so many of you guys already saw that. I think it was quite interesting. The game development in Java talk, and lately we code the second half of the, how was it called, Spring RTS talk. So yeah, that's other than that, it seems to be a nice place. People are starting drinking, by the way, so if you hear some loud noises in the background, that's probably it. And I'm not saying that we want to do that a little bit later. So yeah, I think we will use this passing around the mic technique. So Johan, back to you. Or maybe like a sportscast. Johan, now back to you.
Okay, thanks. Yes, well, I mostly attend the same talks as you did, so really don't have to
You're
add
quiet.
anything.
Speak up.
Yes, as I said, I attended the same talks as Shonko did, so not really much to add here, except for that I also did some sticker collecting together with Leaf. Um, yes, I was hoping to see the results of the Torch Up tournament for today, but unfortunately there were some technical difficulties, so I'm going to ask Slav to tell something about it.
Really see your
Yeah, so on in the week I have problems. First, maybe you probably know it, but as a French listener, it's broken in my environment. Thanks to good suggestions.
Speak up.
Thanks to good suggestions by Dan, I have another bot here to test, and that give me some clues about where was the issue around. I think that consumed like most of the first time that I had. And so yesterday, running the tournament in the servers, I started to put more containers to have like more concurrent games. And when I was like on 31 container, my solution died. I have a problem with the singularity the container solution that I'm using instead of Docker. Around the main blocker is around the networking. Since when I activate one container, it gives me like a main IP address, but the system for whatever reason is not releasing the IP. So once I kill that container to start a new game, and yeah, I had my complete system crash, to be honest, running lots of games. Of course, this is a blocker that I plan to fix. And to be honest, I am so bad estimating runtime, as you already noticed. But I hopefully I'm going to take the 3 days that I have here to focus on this issue and start the tournament as soon as possible. And like I said before, I think even if we were having a rough start, I think the idea of having a presence here in Boston with the open source and pushable communities for the GWAPI community and entire scene is good. I'm going to pursue that, and I plan to make this an annual event, not only that, but to improve fixing technical issues and running the tournament and presenting you guys the results. Well, this is not only a good idea, but it's also possible. We are going to make it during event. And about the conference that I attend, early on in the morning I was on the airline web room. I see a nice presentation by Loic, the creator of Cowboy, which is the framework that you use on the airline ecosystem if you want to do like web films. We attend also a psychic learning conference about some transformers and some machine learning related topics like that. And that's it for my part.
As for me, when it comes to this conference, the main issues were converting my bot to Qt API version 4.4. Mostly was just moving some brackets from locations, like instead of location.x brackets, you have to do location.x and things like that. But there were also some things like my train analyzer, like converting that to PWEM would have taken too much time, so I had to use the PWTA version that I think Purple for the recruiters used. So it was still a bit of a hassle, but I managed to do it in time for the conference. So it all went kind of well, I guess. We'll see in the end results.
Okay, I'm still setting up the everything. So yeah, we are from actually Slot's phone, so that's our Wi-Fi connection, and we are going maximum until my laptop battery runs out. So that's kind of our upper limit here. But I thought we should present at least something today, and maybe talk a little bit about what's going on. I think I maybe got some new people getting interested in bot development. I think my talk were good. At least I saw one guy following on one of my social media platforms, so that's very good. I don't know. I didn't really have time to interact with anything outside the guys here. I don't know if you did something like that, or is there any community or other area that you came here to talk with or interact with, and you did so. And if not, what's your plans in that direction? Let's go around yet again.
What is the
Question?
About
Yeah, like
stuff around.
what is the other community or stuff that you want to see in FOSDEM?
if you're interested in
What
other
are your
communities?
interests and
Oh, okay.
Like what else was them besides StarCraft?
Besides, exactly,
yeah.
besides StarCraft, what else?
Very nice question. What is interesting other than StarCraft? Well, at this moment, nothing else comes to mind. No, I still working on my Brutal bot. Takes almost also almost all of my spare time because I'm still trying to get my bot to the number one spot, and that's not easy. Well, last Sunday I looked at the games between Banana Brain and Napan, and it was kind of cringe-worthy because my bot lost very badly. And now I know why, because there was a bug in the worker defense. And this caused the worker defense to malfunction in the case where there was only static defense and no other combat units. And in that case, it would think that the static defense would not be there to try to defend, and then everything went wrong. This caused all kinds of workers trying to defend or workers moving to other bases. So yeah, I fixed that bug now, but it's no use for the SSC AIT tournament because it already started, so too late for that. But that was is what I'm doing at this moment, for fixing bugs in my bot. I'm afraid there's a lot of things to fix.
Okay, so apart from Broodware, tomorrow I plan to attend the HPC, the High Performance Computing Dev Room. I know for sure that there's going to be some people from Singularity there, so I think it's a good opportunity for me to present my issues, my broker. So hopefully I can get some feedback or some guidance around it. Also, tomorrow is the minimalistic and experimental languages dev room. I like very much, and I'm going to be there around the Lua community and some Lisps, some crazy people that like minimalistic things. If that is your sort of thing, you are welcome to the minimalistic and experimental languages dev room tomorrow, and FOSDEM in general. Yeah, I think that will be it.
For me, besides the bourgeois stuff, the other game development stuff that they showed at this conference was interesting as well. For example, talk about the Zero AD, and of course the Zero AD stand itself and the things they talked about. Of course, also the Spring RTS and the problems with the Steam release from some of the games now they learned. I thought those talks were also interesting to hear about. So basically, talks about other parts of the game development, and of course, free stickers.
Okay, that begs the question that for Torcha, the registration is still closed, so the tournament will be held with the current submissions when everything is fixed. And Slot is nodding furiously. So that means that we can actually reveal our secrets now. And I'd like to ask what are the new features you added to or plan to add, or maybe added what didn't work in your bots specifically for Torch, if any.
Yes, something important that I did is this is the first time that I have a Zerg bot in a tournament. Previously it was Protoss. This is the first time Zerg because I thought why not? I did some work on the Zerg already. And I did a lot of work on actually making what is probably the most important decision when you're playing Zerg. Well, do I make fighting units or do I make drones? And I do think I improved it because, well, the win rate shows that, but at least during the local experiment that I did. But now I'm curious if it actually lives up to my expectations against the other opponents. So I do not really expect to beat Locutus or Purple Wave with this. But maybe I can get on a third place or something with this. So yes, I'm very curious about what's going to happen during the tournament. Yes.
Well, I try to work on both things, and in retrospect, I think that was one of my mistakes. Maybe I could like only focus on the tournament manager instead of trying to compete as well for this first try. But it's like too late to retrospect on that sort of things. Only specifically about my bot, I'm I'm still trying to come up with a one-trick pony and branch from there once I get it. And that one-trick pony, what he plays is the 9734 strategy for Zerg. My idea is have like the skeleton of that build order ready, and once I got it, branch from there to the other Zerg build orders. But the current state of my bot is just a potato. It's a potato that can expand, can mine, can build Zerlings, but for a reason or the other, it can't mine gas. So you can see how that terrible is for a Zerg bot, which are basically gas dependent. But yeah, that's the current state of my bot is a potato for feed the other non-potato monsters that we have on the tournaments, and that's from my slot lineup.
For this FOSDEM tournament itself, I only really converted my bot to 4.4. for the next upcoming AIST, I'm planning to convert the BWTA to BWAM and also fix whatever problems may have cropped up with the conversion to 4.4. And after that, I'll look into making sure my units don't get stuck on the ramp anymore. Not exactly.
Cheering in the background.
I haven't exactly decided yet on what I will do after that, but those things I mentioned, that's basically bug fixing and converting to BWAM is what's currently on the table for my bot.
Well, that's nice to hear. For myself, I was toying with the idea of finally doing some library for bot development, because we talked about the common solutions to common problems issue, that everyone encounters the same issues and everyone solves them the same way. This is probably like a long-term plan of mine, but I'd like to see something similar. Like BWAM is a good example of that, but unified, well, not unified, but for example, a pathfinding library that could be used by everyone would be a nice thing. I was thinking about this while watching some other talks, and I don't know. I'm doing everything that is not developing my own bot currently. Mostly working on Snail, and actually I don't know if I announced that, but I got some help from a community member who shall not be named at this point to host the beta servers. So we are moving to beta very soon. The current state of the project is that you can upload bots, you can upload and download bots, but everything is done via REST calls. So there is no proper UI for that, but yeah. It is kind of in a usable and more importantly testable state. The one thing I'm really ashamed of now is the website, to be honest. It looks like very crappy, but maybe that will be improved as well. And yes, you asked that what kind of environment files will be for Schnell. Currently there is only one, where there is the schnell.env file, which is present at the bot's read folder, signifying that you are playing on that environment, and it will contain the enemy's GUID, so you can identify your human opponent with 100% accuracy. And well, I'm a little bit changing the topic to Schnell now, but we absolutely don't need to talk about that. Like we are sitting around the table, bring up anything and everything that you want to talk about and comes into your mind. This is much more free form than usual. So yeah, I'm gonna just pass the mic, and now you come up with topics and see how hard it is.
Okay. Well, I kind of like the fact that that there is a schnell.env file, so you know that you're playing. Well, it signifies that you're actually playing a human opponent. You can also know who. And I think it's very important because, well, if you have a human opponent, you probably want to say GLHF, GG in the chat, for example. That's one of the possible uses. You can also try to use this to have a mechanism that your bot leaves the game when it seems to be losing, because that is a bit of a problem when versus human games at this point, because the bot will probably just go on, not leave the game when it's clearly losing, because it is kind of difficult to determine when it is. And I also think it's useful to have this schnell.env file to detect that you're playing against a human, so you can do some BM stuff like manner nexuses or something. This is not very effective against bot opponent, but more effective against human opponents.
Definitely.
I already tried out Schnell recently, because I finally want to an easy way to play against my own bot, but I stopped that idea. But apparently I cannot win against my own bot. I just got steamrolled, so maybe I should try some other opponents, like for example Marine Hell or something. That might be more of my level, but still have to try that.
is a great thing that now both authors have access to that environment file that Franco just explained. I've been noticing how he is like growing strong in the gaming communities about StarCraft, all the interaction that he's been doing with the Pylon Show guys and with the Team Liquid community and the BSL community and all of these more broad rootware scene in general. I think the work that Shonko has been doing basically as the unofficial official ambassador of our scene has been great. I like the reception that we have been seeing from outside of our niche and outside of our development groups. For example, I recently I start to have like questions about the snail project from my local StarCraft team. Basically, they start to send me the links and ask me if I'm aware of this. Of course, I'm aware of the snail and Chunkus project, and I've been noticing how he's being effective and letting the word out. I really hope that we are going to see an increase of eventually of developers or activity of new people on the Discord. Yeah, it's a hard endeavor to make a bot. It's probably easy to make a potato, but once you want to cook that potato and start to changing into something else, it's really hard work. It's not the production of quality. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. Yeah, I really don't need to describe this to you guys. So it's been great to see how the message is getting out there. Yeah.
I'm also interested in Sonko's project because I remember from back in the day when we did like human versus bot. What we had to do was we had to load in our own bot, go on like IC Cup, and then play against the bot itself. So basically, both the bot author and the human player had to be online. Because that way the human player didn't have to install anything. But right now with some simple clicks you can just play against the bot yourself, and the bot author doesn't have to load in the bot himself and go to ISIC up, things like that. It really makes this whole process a lot easier for the bot developers.
Well, thank you for the kind words. And oops, yeah, I'm trying to reach out to more communities because it's my long-standing belief that our scene suffers from a PR problem, and we most of us like to code, and many of us don't really like to interact with maybe. Maybe interact with other communities or be present in there, and I can certainly understand that, and I would encourage everyone to spread the word and preach it, brother, but it's like yeah, preach it like
Preach.
preach it. I was considering that I do my presentation in a televangelist style, but then I abandoned the idea. But yeah, do preach it because I rarely encountered a negative response when I talked about this thing. And also, someone should make the potato masher bot now, which is called potato masher. I mean, so that would be good. And oh, what else? I was okay. Since sorry, I'm improvising a lot. So um, yeah, other communities. I can't think of anything. Johan, you're up next. Sorry, I wanted to say. I kind of forgot.
Well, if you ask me to improvise, then I have no idea to do that. So
I have a question for Sean.
Yeah, just ask and I will as well.
Yeah, well, I have a little question for Sean. I'm curious about now that we are like talking about this topic, how has been the reception from the StarCraft 2 community? Yeah, how I from what I've been noticed, have been like welcome as well, and they are like very interested in what are we doing, but maybe you that are the ones with the direct contact can like show you some light on how
Okay.
it's.
Well, the thing is, mostly, but not mostly, entirely positive, and it's like they are not in another planet. You can just go to their discords and communities and ask around. I think we have a lot in common, and yeah, like I said, nothing but positive interaction. Even though I joked at their expense a little, but that was just a tease. And yeah, I remembered what I wanted to talk about. It's it's hard to improvising. So the thing is, there was in the Spring RTS presentation, there was a great slide that says that one of your most limited resources is development time. There is only one thing that is more limited, and that is user patience, and that resonates with me a lot, because I think someone was asking why don't I release a bit current version of Schnee to the public, and yeah, that's why, because a user will not care when it will be done, when it's available. He or she will just see it, and okay, this is not working, next, because the attention span of a modern gamer has decreased significantly, and well, yeah, it is done when it is done, and so I think the StarCraft community is quite used to that kind of release schedule at this point. And other than that, there are some technical hurdles I can get. I need to get over, like setting up my own servers and making an MVP on the Snail as well. That is mostly done now. I can put up a development server as well. And yeah, you shouldn't put out a half-done product. Look at I don't know, No Man's Sky is a good example that was basically half done recently. Phoenix Point, which I anticipated a lot, and I really don't want to trash talk that game, but it shouldn't have been released that state. So maybe you could talk about your experiences during your working life, and well, release schedules, crunch times, and such topics as that.
I'm the same as you. I'm blank.
Just talk. Yeah, like anything goes. Let's go with some stories and stuff. Or you can just pass it forward.
I don't have anything at the moment. Go ahead.
Well, sorry, Franco, this was the wrong question. I don't really have a story prepared for this. Of course, during my work, I have to do with deadlines because I work as a Java enterprise developer. And well, yes, if something needs to be done, it needs to be done. It needs to be tested before it can be put into production, because we don't test in production. But no, at this moment, no stories. And I look at my at the other people here, but
Vanaf dat moment.
Well, I think my recent experience have showed me that I was doing things wrong with the testing first. Actually, I agree completely with the philosophy that Shonko described, all the release when it's done thing that we hear in the 90s from Blizzard and from John Carmack on ID. And it is nice. I was like I think I personally I agree a lot with that mindset, but I also have learned from for example the Ireland community. They have a completely different approach to development, which is basically not only the Erlang community but the Zero and Q community as well. Once there's like certain communities that once you start thinking about the concurrency and modeling, like the physical aspect of things in your programs, you start to want to have like things like crash, something like that, because well, actually the Ireland mantra is let it crash, and the idea behind let it crash is not that let your programs crash and embrace the errors kind of thing, but the point is that when things crash is when we learn, is when we have the opportunity to make something about it and to fix the thing. Yeah, I see really value in errors and in crashes. I think it's completely an opposite kind of mantra, but I don't believe that they are. I think that they can like live together in peace, perfectly, something like that.
En of zullen we het answer.
Okay, so that was maybe not the best question to you guys, but well, we tried. So I was thinking about what to present next year. I was always thinking about the next step, because I literally arrived the last minute I could at FOSDEM. I had zero time to prepare. To get you an idea, today I went out and bought a laptop because I was that unprepared. So yeah, it's hard, but I wanted to be here anyway. I promised to be here and maybe just present something to the community at least. And yeah, next year I think I will maybe have a longer talk. The lightning talk was nice, but this is not an approach I'd like to take next time, to just go at it and wing it. I mean, not the worst thing that can happen is nothing, but still, this is the type of conference when anything goes. Well, maybe not anything, but you can freely submit anything you want to. And I encourage everyone, especially the ones that live in reachable distance, although Slot has just arrived from Costa Rica, so if he can do it, you can do it as well. I don't think there are many places that are further away than Costa Rica. Maybe Hawaii or I don't know, Japan or something, but yeah, I'd like to comment him on coming here anyway. And yeah, next year, depending on the state of my project, especially Schnell, I want to share the experience with the developer and uh, more specifically the game developer community. And I think at that time I will have some actual operational knowledge. I don't know. Have you thought about presenting next year, or not just next year, in any upcoming conference about this scene? And if not, what is the thing that you want to see, maybe related to or about this? I know it's a question you may need to think about a little, but oh well, just what are your thoughts? And feel free to. We of course, because we are absolutely improvising everything today.
Okay, well, Shanko just said he improvised the talk today because he wasn't prepared. But I think he is relatively good at doing things without too much preparation. I
Don't
think
like
that
to
if
do
you
it,
would
but
have asked me to do it, then it would be a presentation that would not have been as good as this. What would help, probably? Well, next year, if it's really next year, then I suspect that Schnell would be in working order then, so you can demonstrate it. Probably you could have demonstrated it now already if you would have it somewhere on a laptop with you.
kinda, yeah.
Because I have tried it out as part of the beta, and I can see it is functional, not completely polished, but functional. And also, I think it would be a good idea to have some visual material, show things, or how bots playing specific strategies. I think that would help to get people interested. But all in all, I think this what you have shown today wasn't bad or anything. We could probably do more to convince people to join our community. We can get more and more people interested if you just are able to show more. And also, I of course hope, because the technical difficulties with Torch Up have well, at least there have been explained and probably can be solved. So I expect that next year it will be possible to present the results during FOSDEM. But maybe you should take some more time between the deadline and the presentation, because I heard that actually running the tournament, when everything is ready, it takes about 5 full days. And if you have a week, then that's theoretically enough, but you never know what happens, you never know what occurs. So it might be nice to take another week or something.
Yes, I think the comments that you make are completely on point. In retrospect, I made a lot of things wrong this year. Starting with my submission for the conference, since originally I was aiming for a 20-minute time slot to present the results, but I make a complete bad judgment call, and I didn't submit the talk to the game developer dev room, and I did it to another dev room, which was a language specific thing, and I get why it was rejected, and I am completely I acknowledge that it was the right decision from the organizers. It was a completely bad call from my part to don't submit it in the right deadline. Like I said before, this is going to be a recurrent thing. So hopefully I'm going to learn from my mistakes, not only with the submission of the talk, but also in the management side of things, and how wrong thing following the feedback that Johan just give.